Now, last week, Nigeria's relationship with China came under increased public scrutiny with revelations about loans obtained and still being secured from the Asian superpower by the Buhari administration to fund infrastructure projects across the country. The sticking point with a lot of Nigerians about the loans is a condition in the instrument which allegedly would concede Nigeria's sovereignty to the Chinese in the event of a default in repayments. In his reaction to this new development, the House of Representatives ordered signatories to those agreements, including the Minister of Transportation, Finance and Budgets, and National Planning, as well as Communications and Digital Economy, to appear before it on the 17th of August. But the Chinese Foreign Ministry last Monday denied knowledge of any clause in its loan contract, which is designed to cede Nigeria's sovereignty to China. In the meantime, a civil rights group, or Human Rights Watch, has given the federal government of Nigeria an ultimatum to pull out of the Chinese loan deal. We are now being joined for a discussion on the legal implications of Nigeria-China loans by Adesina Ogunlana, former chairman, Nigeria Bar Association, Ikeja. He will also be talking to us about yesterday's crackdown by the police on the hashtag Revolution Now protesters. Now, it's good to have you today. Welcome to Newsday. I would like to start it off from the perspective, is there, looking at the constitutional law, is there any provision that says that Nigeria can actually sign off her sovereignty to another nation for any particular reason before we even come into the context of this Nigeria-China loan deal?
No, thank you so much. Nothing of such in the Constitution that will empower the government to sign off the sovereignty of the state. There's nothing in the Constitution that so empowers. There's nothing. In fact, that would be antithetical to the very idea of Nigeria as a state. It is the quality of sovereignty, the character of sovereignty itself, that distinguishes Nigeria as an independent nation capable of dominion in its own territory. That is what sovereignty is about. So there's the Constitution cannot now itself dissolve the essence of the nation. The essence of a nation, of a state, is the sovereignty. That is the brand. So the Constitution that governs relations, governmental relations, citizenship relations with and within the country cannot now be neutralized or dissolved by the Constitution. That is a fact. It's not there.
Thank you for that, Mr. Ogunlana. Let's now go right into this topic of discussion. Yesterday on the program, we had an expert in China-Africa relations who came on and said that with regards to the clauses that we are seeing in this particular contract and possibly others as well, he said that there is nothing to worry about. He actually kind of echoed what we heard from the Minister of Transportation, that it's merely a contract term. Would you say it is merely a contract term?
No, it's not merely a contract term. It's not merely a contract term. And when you say merely, what's mere? What can be mere by a contract? A contract is binding, legally binding. It's not just a mere agreement. It's not a domestic agreement. A contract is legal, is binding, even to the extent of even oral contract. Once you freely enter into a contract where there is an offer, where there is an acceptance, where there is consideration, and freely, voluntarily. Not that you are under any duress. You are bound by what you are covenanted with the other party. So to downgrade it and say it's merely. And that's why, in the particular clause we are talking about, it was specifically put in there that if you fail to pay me my money, I will be free to come and take any of your assets, except your military assets and diplomatic assets, to satisfy your indebtedness to me. And you cannot raise the question of sovereignty as to protect yourself. What could be more binding than that? So for an expert to say it doesn't matter, in fact, it's even fraudulent to maintain that kind of a position. It's fraudulent. It shows we are not even honorable people. If indeed that is at the back of our mind, that is just a mere piece of paper or writing. Well, it's typical of Nigeria. Everybody will remember the famous Babs of agreement as Minister of Education with ASU. almost 20 years ago. And when it came to time of implementation, it's just mere gentleman agreement. You may try to do that with units inside of Nigeria. You can't do that at international law and hope to get away with it. Why did we lose part of Bakassi to Cameroon? Even though it was at war time, but the head of state as of that time, General Gowon, in trying to win the war and preserve his country, entered a deal with Cameroon and ceded that part of Bakassi to Cameroon. And that time, you are talking of a Supreme Military Council. It's a fused legislature, fused executive. The only thing that was exempted is the judiciary. And for execution of policy and formulation, of course, judiciary has no part to do with that. So that's why we lost. Let's start all our brilliant lawyers and all that. We lost part of Bakassi to Cameroon. You may have to renegotiate that back. So to say and dismiss it as mere contract, no way. It cannot work. It shouldn't work.
All right, Mr. Ogunlana, now let's cross over to what happened yesterday with the #RevolutionNow protest, with several key members being arrested and some also being molested, so to speak, or rather being rough-handed by security forces. What's your opinion about this? And what would you advise them to do, understanding that they were acting based on their civil rights as Nigerians?
Yes, thank you so much. What happened yesterday is another unnecessary and unfortunate chapter that does not dignify Nigeria as a nation and that does not dignify the incumbent government. Apparently, the incumbent government of Muhammadu Buhari, we've been saying before, does not either understand democracy or they are not ready to accept the tenets and practice and culture of democracy. I say this because these people gone out to do what? To protest. What does it mean to even protest physically on the streets? It means you are trying to enjoy your freedom of association. You are trying to enjoy your constitutional freedom of liberty. You want to enjoy the freedom of movement, and you want to enjoy the freedom of expression. All these rights are basic, are given. They are not unimpeachable completely. They are not total rights. So you can only find fault where the person trying to enjoy these rights derogate away and outside of the limits of those rights. But what did they do? They are citizens. They came out to the streets in open day, so there's nothing suspicious. They are not members of a secret cult. They are not armed. They went away with posters, placards, and all that, and they were not disturbing other people. They were just experiencing.
Thank you, Mr. Adesina Ogunlana, former chairman of the Nigeria Bar Association, Ikeja chapter.